Say something for the podcast. Tell the people what you feel.
I'm just jazzed about being on the show, man.
You are listening to The Objective Jerk, where objectiveness is the objective, and I am said jerk. What's up? Hope everyone is well. This is The Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. If you'd like to email me, please do it, theobjectivejerk@gmail.com, or you can message me on Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff. So I left the house again. Been having issues with my truck. It's a Nissan. They call it Navara here. Frontier, I guess, in the States. Nissan Frontier is what they... But we had some issues with the radiator a few months ago. We had a guy come in and he put a new radiator in. But it was a cheaper radiator. It's like not a very good one. But, and then we went on a little trip last weekend, and I think I talked about maybe the truck was overheating. And then we came back, and it only had water in it, because it's not going to freeze here. So a lot of people use water, but water's not good. It's better to have coolant. And so I put some coolant in it, but it just still was like leaking. It was not working right. Like it was kind of kicking back fluid into the reservoir, so then it would leak out, or I don't know if it was the water pump. It's like I know some stuff, but I'm not good at diagnosing. If somebody says like, "Hey, this needs to be replaced," I can do it. But to figure out what's wrong, I'm not. I don't know that much. I can guess and Google. That's about it. But so we did that, and it still was having problems. Then a guy came and flushed the radiator. Still was having problems. He took it home, did whatever. It's still like and then it was overheating again. And my wife stopped by somewhere else, and they're like, she told them what's going on. And, new radiator. It's like, dude, we've done that. What else? It's like we have there's two times now where we've gotten screwed by people. And I say like a cool thing about living here is I say it all the time. It's like living what I imagine kind of the States in the 50s area, a lot of mom and pop places. Back then it was like, you got to find a trustworthy mechanic, because mechanics would screw you over, especially if you don't know what's going on. They're gonna find ways to get money out of you and all that kind of crap. And it just kind of seemed like as I got older, there was less and less of that. You know what I mean? With maybe it's the internet kind of helping mitigate that. One good thing about the internet. So usually, if you find some kind of mechanic that's like a corporation, or even like, it wasn't hard to find like a decent mechanic that, at least they weren't trying to screw you over, at least not significantly, maybe. I don't know. But here, though, they try and get you. And then if they know it's me, they're like, "Oh, foreigner. Oh yeah, there's a tiny unicorn in your exhaust, and we got to replace that." That kind of crap. It's like, no. So we've been having these problems, right? And I can't go with my wife to any of the mechanics or any of this kind of stuff, because for one, they see me and the price goes up automatically. Two, they usually don't speak English very well. So I'm talking to them, and my wife is an interpreter, but she doesn't quite grasp everything that's kind of involved with it. And she'll be, instead of just interpreting what I'm saying, she starts like arguing with me about it. And I'm like, no, just say what I'm saying. So it's like, if was to ask, like, okay, well, how does, why does this, that, blah, blah. She gives them the benefit of doubt. She don't want to talk about it. And it's like, and then we just end up getting in like a fight. And then we get into an argument and stuff like that. We've been, and it's not all her, it's, I have anger problems and stuff. There are some people here in town that think of me as the mean white man. We went to a hardware store a while back. What were we getting? Oh, it was when I was making the little cover for my grill. And I wanted like, I think 12-foot 2x4s, but they didn't have any. No, wait, what was it? There was something. Oh, it was the little metal. That's right. When I rebuilt it, redid the roof, because the original roof was what they call a big, which is like the grass stuff, which is cool because it's easy to put on. It's cheap. If they do it right, it can last a while, and it makes, it drops like the temperature underneath it like significantly, so it's kind of cool. But then if they don't do it right, it has to be at a really steep angle for the water to run off. If not, it gets soaked and then it gets dank and moldy and crap like that. So we had that, and it wasn't working. It's like we had a rainstorm, and it wasn't even windy, but everything was wet underneath. And I'm like, well, what's the point of the roof? So I was like, I'm getting rid of this thing. So me and my son, we got it off. And then, so I put metal roofing on it, and I bought like those like steel, like 2x4 kind of things that are in like office buildings a lot for building the studs, the walls. They're like the half a stud, basically. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. It's not steel. It's what is it called? Well, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so those, I think I wanted like 10 foot, or I wanted 12 and they only had 10, or I wanted 10 and they only had 8. I think it was that way. Anyway, oh no. That's what it was. They had like 20 foot long ones. And so I was telling her, I was like, okay, what I need is 2, 3, 4, like 6 8-foot length ones. And she's like, so then she's talking to them and she's talking to me. Well, they only have 20. I was like, okay, that's fine. Just have them cut 6 8 feet length, whatever I can get that will give me that. And if there's some extra, fine. But I need at least that. And that was so hard for her to grasp and communicate to them that I was getting pissed. And I was, and then they saw it, and they were all like scared and stuff. And and I guess like, she went there another day, another time later, and they're like, is he always so scary? And she's like, no, he gets like that. And she's like, aren't you afraid? She's like, no. But so that's good. So my reputation precedes me. But that's why I don't go anywhere. I don't go places much. It's like twice a month, 3 times a month, really. I hardly leave my house. Maybe that's not healthy. That's why I'm trying to get a motorcycle, so I can get on there and leave the house and try and, that's the goal. Anyway, yesterday my wife went to a couple different mechanics, and they're like, oh, you need a radiator, and then, we're having these long texts back and forth, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's like, if the truck is overheating, it's like 5 different possible reasons. There's the radiator, water pump, the thermostat, the fan, I guess. So it's like you have to, and one thing that my uncle taught me was, especially for diagnosis, like you start with the cheapest, easiest thing first, because you don't want to spend all this money and then just to find out, oh shit, it was just the thermostat, So you always start with it, and then if that works, cool. If not, then you move on to the next thing, and so on and so forth. So, we were having like angry texts yesterday, but then I was like, I texted her and I was like, hey, I'm sorry, I wasn't mad at you. It's frustrating because I can't be there. I mean, I can, but I'll only make it worse by either arguing with her or the person, or them jacking up the price. So she just goes and does it, but it's just, she's not mechanically inclined, So it's just kind of, that's a thing I don't like about living here. excuse me, is everything gets, everybody thinks that we're rich because of me, foreign money. And yeah, I mean, compared to a lot of people here, my income is pretty good, but there's a lot of Filipinos here that are like wealthy rich, like, you know what I mean? Like they spend money because they don't have anything to do. And we're not that way. We have bills. We still got kids in school and we're trying to do, you know what I mean? Fix up that, there's things going on. So it's like, it's not like I'm sitting there. If I was rich, I would already have that motorcycle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't just, oh, I'm going to go buy something because I want to. Yes, it's like, we have a lot more. I mean, there are people here that live off of not much at all. $100, $200 a month, maybe. It's not very much, but they are able to do it. But so, I mean, that wouldn't even cover our electric bill, I don't think. Yeah. Our electric bill has gotten a lot lower. Man, so what happened was our older fridge that we bought, what was called a Maker, when that was the brand. I keep looking at the thing, but I'm trying to really look at the camera. And there's a big, fridges here are like small. Everybody's got really small fridges. But, being American, 3 kids and stuff, so it's like, I want a bigger fridge. So we bought a bigger one when we first got here, but that thing sucked. And it finally kind of was not working right. So we decided to get a new one. And we got like a Samsung, massive, nice fridge. It's what do you call it? It's, it has an inverter, I think is what it is. And it saves a lot of money on electricity. Like, this bill, we just got our bill and I was thinking like it's going to be a certain amount and then it ended up being what it was before. And it's like, oh man. And the reason the week before or the month before it was cheaper because, we had a week of like no power almost. It wasn't a full week, but it was close. But we still had that fridge. Or I guess it was a month before maybe. Anyway, so I was kind of thinking like, oh, it's going to go back to the way it was. Because in my room here, I have the air conditioning rocking. Because I am not built for this heat. I'm cold. I've said it before. And I knew that coming in. I know. But I was kind of thinking, I was like, well, during the hot months, I'll chill inside in the AC, and the rest of the time I can be outside. But even when it's like wintertime, I'm still sweating my balls off. It's like, I don't know. I tried I think it was the first year, our first Christmas here, and it was, it gets a little bit cold. I put on a hoodie because it was kind of cold. I wasn't really cold, but it was cold enough. And I just wanted to feel like it was wintertime. So I put it on and we started doing it. And then like before long, I'm like so hot. So I got to take it off. So like all of my shirts, even some of my hoodies I had before, all the sleeves are missing just to help, it's crazy how hot it is. Oh man. I was thinking like, after a year or something, I should be climatized. I'll be all right. No. I mean, some people like even today I keep cutting my story short. All right. So pause that, put a thumbtack, whatever. Put it in that where I'm at about the heat and whatever. So, so we go into town. Originally, my wife's going to go, but because the vehicle's overheating, I told her, hey, just drive slow, have the windows down, don't have the AC, don't be flooring it and gunning it and passing people. Just drive slow all the way there. It should be okay. But she was worried and stressed. She don't know. She gets all scared. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll go. So we drive there. No problems. We get there and they're looking at it. And so we go to the mall, which wasn't quite open yet. Some things were, the grocery store and stuff like that. So we got a few things. And then we go to take one of the like buses back home. And they have a few different kinds. There's like, they have like mass, the big normal kind of bus. And then you have different variations of that. You have the cheap, kind of cheap to expensive, AC, no AC, things like that. But they stop. Like people just stay on the road and there's just like everywhere. They'll pull over and stop, which is good for people. If you don't have a car, you don't need a car to live here. You really don't. There's so much, except at nighttime. Nighttime, everything kind of shuts down. There's nothing around. But during the day, you don't need a car. Between the tricycle drivers and the different buses and the jeepneys and everything, and they do have taxis and stuff. Yeah, there's no reason to, you could move here and not have a car for a long time. But then, you got to deal with the heat and the rain possibly. So that's the only thing. But so that was what, hey, we'll take one of the new jeepneys, and then maybe I'll try and put a picture of one up when I'm editing. I'm gonna see if I can do that. I'm gonna have a picture of a jeepney somewhere around here, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how lazy I get. And so they have jeepneys, which are old Jeep looking stretch limo Jeep kind of things, and people just get on and off and they drive, and then you have the tricycles, and then like I said, the bigger buses and everything. So, but what they have is they have some newer like jeepneys basically. So it's like a smaller bus shuttle, kind of like a bus or a shuttle like you would find at an American airport or something. And so they're air conditioned, And so me and my wife, we get our groceries. We get in a tricycle, which God, this tricycle is so hard for me to get into. The little sidecars, some of them are okay, but for the most part, it is like hard for me to get in and out of that thing. I hate riding in them. And so we got dropped off on the main road so we could flag down a bus or a jeepney. And right when we got there, the type we were looking for went by, and it was just like, all right, it's fine. We'll wait a little. So we kind of walk and we keep our eyes open for it, because all you do is just flag it down and it'll come by and pick you up. And my wife's like, it's pretty hot now, and my wife's getting tired of walking because she's lazier than me. And so we stop in some shade, and we're waiting for the actual type of transportation that we want. And so finally one comes after, I don't know, 15, maybe 20 minutes of waiting. And we go to flag them down, but they're doing this. They're full. So it's like, what the crap, man? And I'm just like, dude, we stood here for how long? So then we just walked all the way down the road to what they call the terminal. And then we just got on a bus that had no AC. And that's how we got home. And then I was kind of like, when we were at the supermarket too, I was like, so you're going to go home now? Because originally what the plan was, she was just going to go and do whatever, but then she wanted me to go. So then when we got there, I was going to take a jeepney or something and come home. But then we did some shopping, and she's like, I'm just going to go home. The mechanics hadn't called or anything yet, so it was kind of... And I told her, I was like, man, you know what's going to happen? We're going to get home, and they're going to call you. I know what's going to happen. And sure enough, that's what happened. About maybe a half hour after we got home, they called to say, hey, come get your truck, which is good. As I guess it was the fan. They didn't have to replace the fan or anything. It was just, they had to just fix it. Hopefully it was like a good fix. Because fixing it means something different here than in the States. Fixing in the States, usually you replace something with something new, whether new grease, new bearings, something. Here they just kind of spray WD-40 on it and okay, you're good. Which is good for you to get to the mechanic, but not when you're at the mechanic. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just kind of how they do things here. Like, they're all about the original parts. So like the original radiator that's in the truck is a much better radiator than the replacement that we bought. So they're like, you should just get that rebronze, like kind of basically like welded, fixed, like JB Weld kind of bronze something to put that one back in there. But it's like, I would rather buy a brand new radiator that's like the original, not like the cheap one that replaced it, and put that in there. Because in the back of my head, I'm always going to think like, man, that thing's going to end up breaking down or something because it's not, you know what I mean? But here they're like, oh, it's an original part. You should try and get it to work. It's like, no, man, get that thing out of here. Give me a new one that's just as good. Hello? But I don't know. So, anyway, so as we were walking, looking for the bus, my wife points out, either she pointed out somebody or she brought something up. She's like, how come I see other white foreigners here that are walking around loving the sunshine? And I'm like, because they're older and they're cold. So the heat feels good because their body's cold. Because most of the white guys I see here are 60 something at least. I mean, I do see other people here like on vacation or something sometimes, but as far as living here, they're all older, which I guess I should feel grateful for, which I do. But plus, even when I'm older, it's still going to be too hot for me though, because I'm just built for cold weather, not for hot. So I don't know. But that's what happened to me today. So that's kind of the more of the BS I have to deal with here in the Philippines, which is, it's not that big a deal, I guess. I mean, I feel bad for my wife because like she has to do more, which I mean, I'm not complaining about because I just stay home and don't do this or whatever. I don't really do anything. But I do kind of feel bad. It's like sometimes I just would like, you know what? I'd just like to go and go talk to somebody but it's hard because even if I could speak their Ilocano like fluently, it's still their language is, you have this many words in the English language, and then you have this many words in a lot of other languages, Ilocano or whatever. So it's like, it's hard for them to be specific. You know what I mean? So it's like, the English language is the way it is because it's easier to really clarify what you're trying to say. So it's like, if I was to be like, all right, so my radiator was already replaced by this new one. We had it flushed, but the vehicle's still overheating. For her, she would just be like, the vehicle's overheating. Oh, you need a new radiator. No, we did a new radiator. Well, it's a radiator. I don't know. Like I don't think that's a very good example, but it's just, there's no specificity. There's no details. There's no, you know what I mean? Like it's just a couple words to say. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, well, I think this is it for me for this month. I think like I have like 25 minutes left for this month. And that's about where I'm at right now. So I'm going to end it. I don't know if I'm going to post this one right now. Maybe later. I don't know. Hey, let me know if you watch this on YouTube or on Rumble. Is my spooky aesthetic stupid, annoying, what? I don't know. Let me know. Email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com or message me on Twitter and Facebook, all that stuff. So thanks for listening to me, bitch. And I'll see you next time. Bye.